Hey all, welcome back to the next episode of The Incompetent Gardener. I'm Justin. I will be your guide today through this train wreck of a situation. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my new favorite tool, the Broadfork. So this beauty is meant for breaking up the soil in your garden, basically tilling without actually tilling. So what that means is instead of grabbing that soil and flipping it over in order to bring the organic matter down and reconstitute the lower soil up, what this does is this breaks up the soil without disturbing the surface. Now, the reason that's important is in any kind of no-till practice, you want to leave the surface as pristine as possible and kind of plant through everything. You'll notice I've got a lot of crimson clover, some white clover, and several other flowering varieties of cover crop out here in my garden area, and I don't plan on removing it. What I do plan on doing is simply broad forking through all of it and planting my root vegetables. Now, that broad forking, what that does is these big, fat, sharp tines right here will go down into the soil. You can step, jump on the bar, get on it, wiggle back and forth, get it all the way down into the surface, and then give it a good back and forth motion. What that does is that breaks up the soil, allows air pockets in there for proper aeration, allows space for water infiltration, and gives a better opportunity for those nutrients to get down to the roots without actually disturbing the top. That's especially important in a woody environment like this, primarily to keep your weeds down. Because what happens is when these weeds grow and they go to seed and they drop their seeds, not all of those seeds sprout. Some of them go dormant. What happens is as you till and bring that earth over and flip it over, you bring all of those dormant seeds from under the soil up to the surface, and it allows them to now germinate. And then all of a sudden you'll have all of these seeds in your garden, or all these weeds in your garden that you weren't expecting before. So by broad forking, that just opens up the airways in the soil. It breaks up the compaction. It allows water infiltration, allows air. It allows good germination for fresh seeds. Those dormant seeds will stay dormant. It's not going to all of a sudden sprout all these weeds in your garden. So this is a great no-till practice to break up that soil and give yourself space to plant. Once we've broken this up, I should be able to dig down with my bare hand nearly to my forearm without having to use any tools, which is what makes this great for any type of a root garden, which is what we're growing here. As we learned in our soil test, doing our own little soil test, soil sample, I have a very sandy loam soil here, which is phenomenal for root vegetables. I threw some nitrogen out here, some nitrogen fertilizer, organic nitrogen fertilizer, in order to help rebuild some of the nitrogen that's been leached out of the soil. And as a result, all the clover started blowing up real fast. I did get some poison ivy around the edges, which is why you see the burn marks there. I just burned the poison ivy out. And now I'm going to choke it out by planting our garden. Cover crops and our root vegetables should take care of that poison ivy, and anything that's not there, I will glove up with really good gloves. Not any type of fabric glove, but like a latex, or if you have any type of latex allergy, vinyl, or any other type of like food handling glove, something that won't allow the oils to touch my skin. And then I'll just rip them out from the roots and burn them in a pit. But yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk through, we're gonna broad fork this area. Now, I do recommend using a broad fork for the smaller properties, a couple of acres. Anything more than that, broad forking is just gonna kick your butt. It is a good workout. I'm doing about 1,000 square feet. Broad forking will be just fine. So this is what I'm going to use to break up the ground so that I can start planting my root vegetables. Now, the other thing we're going to hope is that my bees aren't threatened by me. I'm going to broad fork near the fence where they are, but not quite there. If I start getting some buzzing around me, I'm just going to easily back up. I do have a lot of them working through the area right now, feeding off of some of this clover. I don't want to disturb them. This is exactly what I want them to do. That's why I want to keep all my cover crops here. And then out in that section in front of them where I burned out a big patch of poison ivy, I'm going to be planting lavender seeds. Both lavender and white clover as a way of helping propagate a food source for those bees. And my wife loves the color purple, so it gives us a nice purple garden as well. All right. So that's quite the workout. Now I do have one bee coming around trying to warn me to stay away. So I'm gonna go suit up to continue on this. All right, on account of a couple of bees just warning me to stay away from the hives, what I've done is I've gone ahead and changed my shirt to a long sleeve, help protect any of the skin of my arms. I've got my work gloves, and then I just grabbed a hat, threw a little veil over the top of it, just to keep them off of my face and neck and off of my head. So we're gonna go back to Broadforking this whole section. Don't worry, I will time lapse it for you guys so you're not stuck sitting here for an hour with me while I do this. Hey guys, all I'm doing is broad forking, but I'm disturbing a whole lot of life forms down here, which is a great sign because, as you can see, I'm not digging up or flipping over, but I am bringing up a lot of life to the surface, which tells me that there's a lot of organic matter here in the soil, which is really good for our garden. So we're going to keep on going.